Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a possibly a two-part video. I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to be making one of those envelope journals that I've seen on a few different channels. I saw it on Shanoki Art. I saw it on Luise Heinzl, who's the main one that I'm following along because I love her mixed media techniques. I also saw it on Snowstorm Crafts, Tammy over there. So you can check out any of those channels. I'll try to remember to link them all down below in the video description box. I'm going to do my own little take on it. I am going to again do a little bit of the mixed media kind of grunginess that I am just so in love with. So I am using the kit from RachandBella Crafts called Shades of Spring. I actually picked up her other one. I don't have it in front of me. It was, I believe, the spring kit from last year, and so I did purchase that as well, but it doesn't mix as well with this one as I had hoped, but I have got plenty to work with here. So I have already pre-cut everything. I'll tell you what I did and how I determined what to do, just so that the tutorial makes sense, but it does save a lot of time in the video. I will be inking as we go along, but I will cut that out. I will be using some distress oxides. That's what Luise used in hers to create that grunge, so I'm going to try for that. I'm going for this pistachio color because I really like that color in the kit, which we will talk about a little bit more. When I first got my distress oxides, I did swatch them all out, and I love looking at these. They're just so delicious. So if you have these and you haven't swatched them out, I would highly encourage you to do it, because when you swatch it out, you get to see the variations in colors that you get when you apply water and other things. So it's just really, really cool to see the effects. So I did that when I first got my distress oxide. So in 2023, I am also trying to use supplies that I've had for a long time that I have not used as much as I would like, the distress oxides being one. The number one reason why I don't care for them is because they are chalky looking, and that's not generally what I like. But again, I am going to try something new and break out of my routine and my comfort zone a little bit. So I've got a lot of tools here. I've got some water to spritz. I've got my Fabri-Tac. I've got my white glue, my archival ink in Walnuts Vintage Photo, excuse me. And I already showed you the distress oxides. And then, as I've shared in another organization kit video, these are my scraps from the kit, and this is my ephemera. It's not all cut out, but we'll probably be doing this in two parts depending on how this goes, or I might decorate off camera. I will just see how this video flows in terms of time. So that's how I kind of organize those. And then I've used most of the pages, to be honest. Like, there's very few here that I did not use. So beautiful, beautiful kit. Definitely right up my alley. Yeah, it's definitely up my alley. I love it. So, and I really wanted to honor RachandBella. They do a fantastic job of not only promoting what they create and the digitals and things like that, but also they have a fantastic group on Facebook, which I'll try to remember to link as well. Let me make a note, otherwise I will not remember. Hold the fort. Let me see if I can find a piece of paper. So we're going to link the group so that you guys can check that out if you're interested, if you don't already know about them. But they do a fabulous job of I'm in a lot of groups where there's absolutely no interaction. Like, it's just like people out there just posting their stuff, and there's really no relationship and no kind of interchange and encouragement. And Rachel has set a new standard in her group, which is basically, which I totally agree with. You can't just come and just splash your stuff out there and not engage and not provide support to other creators and enter into that relationship. So the group has just become this really, really beautiful place, and I'm loving it so much more than I did even a week or two ago. So I love it. So I would highly encourage you to check them out. So we're going to be putting a booklet in our journal. This might be a little bit too high. We will establish that when we get to that point. But I basically took printed on 20-pound paper a couple of pages from the kit that could still be written on, as well as some other digital coffee dyed, tea dyed paper that I have purchased on Etsy. So we've just got kind of a mishmash of papers in there, and I believe that there's 10 total, so it's a good size book, and that will make more sense as we move along. These are just ephemera bits that will go in the pockets, all 3 of these, so I'm going to set those aside as well. I've got a little bit of fabric to do some binding in terms of when we put the envelopes together. I do want to grab some tape. I forgot to grab tape as well. I want to make sure that I tape the envelopes together before I apply the fabric. I do have my sewing machine, which it's right here, but I forgot to plug it in, so I'll probably have to take a pause and do that when I get ready to sew. I have already cut all my flaps, and basically what I did is I just took the envelope and I put it over a piece of paper, like let's say this was our piece of paper, and I just traced around it, and then I just did that 4 times. So, and I was able to get all 4 envelope flaps out of one piece of paper, which was pretty epic. So they're similar in that regard, so those 2 are very similar, so I will try to mix those up when I put them on, but it was a way to just get the most out of a piece of paper. My envelopes, and I apologize if I'm sniffly, I do have a cold. I have been sleeping like crazy, really, really trying to listen to my body. I need to figure out what's going on with my immune system. Not getting a lot of help from my doctor, so I'm gonna go on my own expedition to figure out how to solve this. So I am a little sniffly, but I have to create, that's my happy place. So anyway, the envelopes are 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and I just get these at Hobby Lobby. They are a Paper Studio brand. And then these are the panels for the outside of the envelope. So the way these are going to work is they're going to be back to back. And I know that for some of you, this might be repetitious if you followed Luise, if you followed Shana over at Shanoki Art, and Tammy over at Snowstorm Crafts, because a lot of people have done this project. But basically, what you're going to do is these papers, there's 2 pieces, and they're going to go under here. And then these pieces will go on the flap, and then these envelopes will attach together, and the signature will go around both, which is why I'm thinking that they might be a little bit too wide. So see how high that is. In fact, let me just take care of that now, get it off of my plate. I'm going to grab my big cutter so that I can just cut them all at once, because it's pretty thick, but let's just do it on camera here really quick. Not a problem. Got the Big Mama here. Love my precision trimmer. Cuts through anything. So I feel like I can just do that and just cut through all of it. I'm going to take, I don't care if the pages are even or not. That doesn't bother me. I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch off, it looks like. It's bad to go this way, so let me go ahead and move this up. It's easier to come towards myself, at least I have found that to be true. So again, we're going to take about 1 inch off. And look at that. That went through all of that paper in one cut. Epic. So let me just stick that over there. And then let's take a look at this and see if it's a better size. I feel like it is a better size. So yeah, much better. So that's going to go to the side. We're going to grunge up these papers. We're going to tear the edges. We're going to use some Distress Oxide, and we're going to get messy with that. So let's start with some inking up. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these 2 panels that are going to go on the envelopes and all of my flaps, and I will be right back with you. Okay, just finishing up the inking. It's really not necessary for me to ink this on this side because it's going to eventually be glued together. But if you were working with white envelopes, you would want to make sure that you colorize this if you don't want to see the white like go down about 1/2 inch or so with some ink or something, just to kind of help that to not be so stark white. But I don't really, I have white envelopes, but I don't tend to grab for those for that reason. So you can totally use white though. So just getting everything. This could also happen afterwards, to be honest, a lot of this inking on the envelopes. So let's go ahead and set that aside and get rid of my crumbs that drive me absolutely bonkers. Means I need to change my sponge. Okay. So again, we're working back to back like this. So I want this one to be my front, so I'm going to put this on here. And, oh, it looks like it's a little bit big. How did that happen? I'm going to trim just a tad bit off. I'm not going to bring the cutter back over. I'm just going to do it kind of off camera here, you guys. That's a little bit too tall, in my opinion. I'm not sure how that happened. I'll have to do that with the other piece as well, but hopefully that's a little bit better, a little bit more room. Yeah, that's much better. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on, and I'm going to get my other white glue. Both of the glues in this bottle are the same. It's just this has got the little nozzle that helps me to be able to control the flow. So my husband is outside my studio window taking down Christmas lights. I was like, what is that? So I'm gonna just put glue around here. We don't have to preserve this as a pocket. You totally could figure out a way to do that. I am not gonna do those gymnastics. So I will get these panels glued on. There we go. So I am going to think about what I want to have be my inside flap of this. This is the front because I really want to draw this color out in the whole project. So let's see what would work best with this. I think one of these. He just hit my window. That's so funny. There we go. So that's going to go there. I think that will be very pretty. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to open this up just for ease. My glue seems to not be coming out very fast for being a big nozzle. This is that lower priced glue that I found on Amazon that is mimics the Barely Arts glue. I will link it. Let me make a note because I say that and then I forget. So link glue. I need to put it in my master supply list, which I always forget to do that, even though I think about it often. There we go. So it is about not quite half the price. Maybe it's probably about $5 cheaper, I would say, would be fair. So very, very good deal, and it works the same. So anywhere we can save a little bit of money is good, huh? Okay, so then what shall we put on the other side? So we've got that, and then I don't want those two on the back to be the same, so I think I'll put this one here. And I can trim anything that's uneven. My cutting was stellar this time. I hope you guys are having a good beginning of the new year. It is already January the 14th. It's crazy. It's just zipping by, but I hope that you guys are doing well and that everything that you hope to do, you're able to do, and any of your focuses that you have for the new year are working out for you. They are for me. I'm being very much more deliberate and more relaxed in my creating, mainly how I'm thinking about the production of what I do in terms of YouTube content, and it's actually working out fine. I thought I would end up doing less, but I'm actually doing the same amount, but just feeling a lot more relaxed and feeling really good about it. So there is the first envelope. So let's go ahead and do the second one. I will go ahead and just speed through that and let you just watch. Okay, so there we've got everything glued. So again, just a reminder, I love how these went together. The pink and the pink I think is really beautiful. And then that's going to go like that. So I think the next natural step would be to work on the signatures. So this is the part that is very, I've never done this before. Let me just say that. So we are going to start just kind of tearing this and bending it and just stressing it. Okay, I simply cannot do that anymore. That was a lot. It's going to be fine though. It's going to be just fine. It is enough. So we're going to start with the pistachio. So I am going to put it directly on my paper here. And I'm going to try to get it all over everywhere. And I'm going to turn it over and do the same. And then we're going to spritz it and see what we get. It's going to be beautiful, I think. I'm debating on whether or not I think I want to do this first and dry it a little bit. And then I'm going to lay some paper towel down here just so that I don't get everything sopping wet here. Just going to spritz this. And I want that to run inside the pages as well, like that. And just kind of see if we can get that to move around a little bit. I'm going to get that in the edges, and then we're going to dry this. There's going to be a lot of drying here. So the key here, and I didn't know this until I watched Luise's video, but you can't take a block to that surface when this is wet. So I couldn't take this again and put it on there because there's water on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. This is the way she did it. She put it on her block like that, and then put block to paper here like this, just to get a little bit more. Oh, I love that. Ooh, so cool. Okay, so I think that's probably good with the green. We're going to see how we're getting here in the inside the pages too. I'm going to squirt a little bit more. Very cool. I think I'm going to go right in with the frayed, well, maybe we'll do a little bit of the fossilized amber. So again, I'm going to go straight to my block here, just to not create a problem with my pads. And I'm just gonna, I love the yellow, so I think it's beautiful. A little bit more. Such a great idea. I don't know how this is going to hold up with, you know, 20-pound paper. I don't know what weight Luise was using for her signature pages, but we'll see. Oops. Maybe if I spritz that a little bit. Clumsy fingers here, apparently. So there we go. Feel like I'm not getting anything inside of there, so I'm going to go ahead and dry this really quick, and I'll be back with the next layer. Okay, so what I noticed is that I've got a lot of these front pages done. They're still a little bit wet, and this back page is very, very wet, but I didn't really do much with these pages here towards the back. So I'm going to mess with that a little bit and add some more ink, and then go through that process again. This is Luise makes it look very easy. It is not easy at all. Yeah, it's just, this was challenging, but I think the results are going to be well worth it. So I'm just gonna tear these a little bit, and then we're going to do that same application of ink that we did before. I'm just gonna try to use my distress. I'm having a hard time getting a hold of this. Goodness gracious. I almost feel like these would have been better to do like separately. It's really hard to get a hold of them, especially now that they're, I mean, these back ones aren't very wet, but they are a little bit damp from the other layers. But like this one didn't have really anything. So let's just wrinkle her up. I have another distress tool. I wonder where it is. Let me see if I can find it in my little bin here. Oh, there it is. Let's see if this one, this is a little bit easier to get a hold of, so I wonder if we'll have better success with this. Oh yeah. And it's got this scratchy thing too. Oh, that works a lot better. Okay. So I'm not too concerned about getting everything. I just really want to get, I want to get some more on here. So let me see if I can grab these pages that are very dry towards the back here. Just forgot the other half of each of these pages is not very, they weren't very exposed, so I'm just gonna go in and do this as well. It's not, they're not wet back here, so I'm probably making this harder than it needs to be, but such is life, right? And I think we'll just let these naturally dry for a little bit, and then while I do some other inking, getting ready for the other bits that are going to go in all the pockets. So it's easier for me to just lay it down. Goodness gracious. She didn't do this. I'm not sure how she got so much color on her pages that she didn't actually make direct contact with. I have to go back and watch again. So I feel like that's good. I'm going to spritz it a little bit here and just get some water in there. We're really, really wet on this paper. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up all of our bits of ephemera that are going to eventually go in here. Let me just wipe my desk really quick. She sure made it look easier than that. I really struggled. I felt like I was all thumbs, but I'm not feeling very well, so that could be part of it. Maybe. I'll just cap up these inks really quick. I didn't go in with the fossilized amber. We might do that in a second when that's all dry. And so these are the bits that are going to go in the middle of the envelope. So there's going to be, when we glue the envelopes together, there's going to be a pocket, and then there's going to be the pockets within the, let me think of Am I thinking about this correctly? Oh no, I've got way too much. What is that? What am I thinking? I thought there were more openings in this than just the middle. I thought there were more. Maybe there's not. Maybe we don't need these big cards. Maybe it's just the middle. So let's go with these first ones that I did. These are the very first pieces that I set aside. So let's just go with this. I might opt to open up the ends so that I can get more in. So let me just ink this stuff up real quick. I mean, I guess in theory it doesn't really need a lot of stuff inside because it's really just an envelope journal, so it's going to have all those writing pages, which I think are going to be lovely. So I do have these toppers as well, but I don't want to put them on before I get ready to put these in the pocket. So these will be the toppers, the pulls on the on these pieces. So I'm only going to probably put 4 in. I think I've got way too many here. Again, not sure what I was thinking. Boy, that got really dark, Cara-Renee. Things do not always go as planned, as you probably know. It's okay, we just roll with it, right? So let's set this aside, and we're going to pull this back over and do some drawing because I'm impatient, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are going to move on. I am an impatient crafter, so we're going to go ahead and move on with this. So I think it turned out okay. I'm going to move this closer so you can see. The middle, again, didn't get as much as I would have liked. I was going to go around it with some vintage photo, but I like it just the way it is. And I would probably do this differently if I did it again. But for my first time, I think it is okay. And I love what it did to this page. Look at that. And this page. It just blurred everything out, made it ever kind of fuzzy and lovely. So we're going to go ahead and move on though. So I'm going to reach for my needle and some embroidery floss, I believe, to do. Oops, it's going to be in the hard drawer to get to. Hold on. It's always tricky because I've got these drawers that sit right in front of me that are at the table height, like at the base of the table, so it can be kind of tricky. Oh, it's right here. Hopefully I've got a color in here so I don't have to hunt too far. I think this color would be really pretty, or just this really light beige, a cream color. I think the cream would be good. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out, and I'm going to cut my 3 lengths. 1, 2, I always go more than I need, so that if I want them to be longer and have dangles, I've got that going on. So I'm going to grab my foam here so that we can find these signatures in, because we want to do that. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot a step. I did. So a couple things first. I've got a sick brain here. So where are our envelopes? So here are our envelopes. So they need to be bound here. And let me think about if I want to open this up. I almost feel like I want to open up these edges because I would like to be able to tuck more inside of this beautiful piece. But I can't do that because I glued this completely shut. Now, if I had wanted to do that, I would have made sure that I only glued around here so that I retained this pocket. I won't be able to cut that open. So I need to take off my jacket here. I'm kind of warm. There we go. Okay. So what we need to do though is we need to put something here to stabilize this. So I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to go ahead and let me think about the best way. I forgot the details of this from the video. So she put some tape here. I'm not going to do any sewing or anything on this, I don't think. I'm going to pause a second, guys, and collect my thoughts, and I'll be right back. Okay, I don't recall how they did it, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a little bit of tape here. I feel terrible about that because I watched the videos very thoroughly. But yeah, apparently not thoroughly enough. So I'm going to go ahead and put some masking tape here, and then I'm going to put some fabric over it. So I'm going to just go ahead and go like that, and I'm going to put some tape here. And I'll get that. I think that was a little bit too high. Let me see if I can cut that down a little bit. Maybe not. It's okay. We'll go up that high with the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to wrap this around this side because we do, oh, that was not quite a big enough opening. Let me see if I can scooch this over. We just need a little bit more room, so let me just try that again. Here we go. It's almost always a solution, you guys. That's much better. So I'm just going to wrap that up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue with the tape on this side. And again, I just don't recall how this was done. It's okay. It is okay. It's not a masterpiece. Okay, so there we go. Oh, that's fairly transparent. That's really interesting. I don't know what kind of tape this is. And then I've got my fabric here, so let's just go ahead and cut a piece to go here. Not quite tall enough, so I'm going to go ahead and get the tape off my scissors here. And I'm going to cut a strip that's just slightly wider than that tape. Okay, like that. And then I am gonna stitch this on. So I think I'm gonna just use some glue stick just to secure it. So let's just let me glue it on, and then I can go ahead and trim that off. Hopefully this is not gonna ruin this whole thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. It started out so strong. I think I want to make this edge not so straight. So let me see if I can. It's sometimes hard to tear that little bit of a strip, but we're going to try. Oh, that's not going to work. That's all right. Actually, I could probably go a little bit narrower, so let me try again. I'm just trying to get, oh, there we go. I'm just trying to get that rough edge. It's so beautiful. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to pull that down a little bit, like so. And I need a little bit more up here. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. So you guys know that my channel is not the channel of perfection. It is the channel of learning and making mistakes and being okay with things not going exactly as we plan. So that is that. I need a little bit more glue. I do not want that edge coming up, especially that's the edge I'm going to sew. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over because I think I can do both of these at the same time if I'm thinking about this correctly. Ooh, look at that. Perfect. Perfecto. Boy, I could not have planned that better. So let's get some glue here. A little bit more up top. And let's get that piece in place as well. And then our signatures are going to go through this. So hopefully that's going to make sense. Let's trim that off a little bit. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and sew this really quick, and I will be back in a jiff. Okay. So it doesn't look as good as some I've seen, but I think I'll probably cover that over with some lace when we're all done. So I think now we have to put our signatures in, because that's the only way we can do it before we glue this together. So let's go ahead and do that. These are still just slightly damp, but I think it's going to be okay. So I'm oh, hold on. Yeah, so it's going to go like this. So I'm going to go ahead and try to paper clip these together so they stay out of my way. I don't want them to be in the way here. So let's see if this works. That's not going to work, so I have to open it. Oh my goodness. I am not feeling good, you guys, at all. There we go. So that's going to go like that, and I want it to be about there. And so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and paper clip. I need some bigger ones. Hopefully I've got a big paper clip in here. They seem to be scarce in this little container. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pin. I'm just opening that up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see there. I'm opening that, and I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, trying to find a big paper clip. There we go. And then, yeah. So that seems to be pretty good. Just trying to get that nice and snug, because it's just important. So I'm going to get my thread ready here. We already cut our length, so I've got my embroidery floss here. I just use all 6 strands. Sometimes it doesn't want to thread very well though. It wants to separate. Let's see how we do. Oh my goodness, it's usually not this hard. There we go. I definitely need to go lay down when I'm done here. So that is ready, and we're going to go ahead and get our little thing out just in case. I probably won't poke through, but I like to just have it there in case. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. I'm just going to poke a hole straight through. There we go. I don't measure this, I just kind of estimate here. It's not a big deal. Tough to get through all those papers though, goodness. And then I'm going to try to go kind of in the middle. There we go. And I want my threads to go on the inside, so I'm going to start from the inside. I'm going to go in through the middle hole. Not even, not even, not even, not even close. That's okay. This was supposed to be a much faster video, you guys. This is taking me a lot longer than I anticipated. Good thing I had so many things prepped though, huh? But there we go. And this is a 3 pamphlet stitch in case you're unfamiliar. Super easy way to bind. I'm going to go back through that middle hole if I can find it. There we go. And, oh, our holes are on the outs. Yeah, they're on the inside. Goodness gracious, Cara-Renee. And you just want to make sure that you've got 1 string on either side of the center string. I'm going to give it a gentle tug just to tighten it. And do a few knots. I usually only do 2 knots when I'm using wax thread, but when I'm using this kind of thread I do a little bit more. Probably 3. There we go. So I'm going to just trim that just a bit. Just a bit. Doesn't need to be that long. Okay, so there we go. Our signature is in. Oh, I love that. And that's going to go down, and that's going to go down. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is really, really cool. Really cool. I feel like I want to do some inking on this this edge in some vintage photo. I just feel like it's not vintagey enough, so I'm just going to go around. I can always go back and ink up some of the pages in the middle if I feel so inclined. But right now I just want that look. Okay. And then I guess that wasn't going to show at all, so I didn't really need to worry about that, did I? I'm not liking that it's showing now, though. So what we could do is put something over that now. Let me grab some lace. I'm not liking that look. So I've got some thinner lace here that I think would be perfect. It can't be too thin, though. Let's see what we've got here. Got this. Yeah, this would be perfect. So let me get a couple lengths of this. And, you know, if that doesn't bother you, then, you know, don't worry about it. But it does bother me, so you got to do you. So I'm going to make sure this edge is really straight. And I'm going to use my fabric tack to go in here. Okay, feels better. Feels better. I like that lace peeking out. So that is that. So I think we're going to just finish this in one video, you guys. I'm sure you guys have seen, whoops. Whoa, that would have been a bad mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and put my eyelets and all that on off camera, and I'll put some beads on here. And I might do a little bit of stamping on some of these. We'll see. But that's just the gist of the construction, a little bit rougher than I would have liked for a video for you guys. But let's just go ahead and glue this together just as a final step, and then we can I can do the rest off camera. So I'm going to use my actually, I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And just sandwich that thing together. And we're going to probably grab some clips here to hold that in place so it has plenty of opportunity to dry really well. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for stopping by. Take care. Bye-bye.